evening. Excuse me. Don't normally do these at night, but I just wanted to touch base. I've been really busy this week. I don't know quite what I've been doing. I've been doing lots of things. I was out yesterday with Alice, so I wanted to let you know that I'm okay and I'm still alive and I'm still as crazy as ever. And I just wanted to touch base with you all, and just so many things have happened this week in a really beautiful way, in a very, very simple way. It's just really deepened a sense of appreciation, and I just wanted to share it with you. I just think through these very strange times, the COVID virus has changed many people. I think it's brought a lot of fear to many, and we always have the choice: do we buy into fear, or do we stay in trust, do we stay in love? And I don't for 1 minute mean that in a religious sense. I mean it in a kind of spiritual sense, in a heart-centered sense. But many of you know that Peter Sanderson set up the Sacred Pause meditation group a few weeks ago. And I was very, very moved to be asked to do quite a few of the meditations with Pete. And yesterday, my dear friend Alice invited me over for a cup of tea and a chat, and it was so lovely to see her. And many of the restrictions in Geneva in Switzerland are now being lifted. And the difference in the city within, less than 2 weeks is unbelievable. It's gone from being quiet. And last night when I walked home from Alice's apartment, the cars on the road were just bumper to bumper. It was just crazy. The junctions were being blocked. People were honking. And for the last 2 months, I've walked and explored Geneva in complete peace and quiet. There's been very few people about. Sometimes, you did have to press the red button for the pedestrian crossing, but most of the time, there's just been nobody there, And it's almost surreal now to see so many people. It's almost like locusts. Where have they appeared from? Where have they come from? The general vibe in the town, the noise is quite incredible. And the amount of people walking around with, designer bags, because obviously Geneva is a centre for fashion, Zara, all the designer labels. And I just find it incredible. It's just completely bizarre to see the complete difference in a city that was so quiet only days ago, even 2 weeks ago, it's still only days ago. So, I don't know. I know that the whole lockdown has changed me. I realise that my journey last year from leaving the UK in January has changed me anyway last year. But the lockdown, even on a deeper level, makes you appreciate friendships. Being able to sit and have a hug yesterday with Alice. I have seen her through lockdown anyway, but being able to see her and talk with her yesterday, to be able to share good conversation, to be able to share a hug, to be able to share with a really genuine friend, a friend who you can laugh with, talk with, share with. And that's really what I wanted to share with you, the appreciation. I went up to the park at Orvive this afternoon, and it's quite a walk from here, so it's 45 minutes walk before you get there. And obviously if it's warm, you may well or may not be drinking en route if it's been hot. Some days it's been 22, 23, 24, 25, 26 degrees here, so been quite hot. It's quite cool at the moment. But even the appreciation of the trees, the appreciation of the rhododendron bushes at the moment and the stunning colours. And I don't know, my mum would correct me, I'm not sure, but one of the kind of shrubs, it looks like honeysuckle and the smell is amazing. It smells divine as you walk past. And because the weather's changed here 3 times this week, I've got soaked with the rain. And the joy of being wet through with the rain. It's still warm, so you can just get changed when you come back, put a t-shirt on and put some dry clothes on. But if anything, I think the lockdown has just brought me a deeper appreciation. It's brought me a sense of peace, a deeper peace, and goodness me, the peace was extraordinary from what I experienced in Bali training with Bapa Manku. But the whole of Geneva has changed to when I was sat in the trees today. Okay, it's cooler, but the parks now are just so quiet. Whereas, at the weekend, and certainly last weekend, they were just so busy. So maybe people have gone back to work, maybe people have just preferred to go shopping, I don't know. But I think it's about finding your anchor. And I spoke to Peter Sanderson before. We're in touch on a day-to-day basis. Not just to organise the Sacred Pause meditations, but we were both sharing the simplicity of life. And many of you will know that Pete's a journalist, TV director and producer. But Peter said to me many times he's introduced himself as a refuse collector because, sometimes people react differently to him because, all of a sudden people start talking posh and people change. And that's not how it should be. And I think whatever happens, we need to stay grounded. We need to stay in our authentic selves. And for me, just being out and about in Geneva, I've mentioned many times before, and many of you know that my weakness is hot chocolate. I don't drink, don't smoke, never done drugs at all. And, hot chocolate's nice, and I like it. And there's 2 guys, sometimes a third one, that run a little stall by the lakeside. And many of you know me genuinely, and I just go up to them and how are you? How's your day? And if the weather's cold, are you okay? It's cold. And if it's too hot, are you, too hot? And these guys really appreciated just conversation. And I watch so many people that go to the store that don't even acknowledge them. They just ask for what they want and they leave. And many times they don't even say thank you. And watching the 2 of them, they light up whenever I just go and order a simple hot chocolate. And some people you remember forever because whatever happens, they've just left a mark on your soul in a really, really, really beautiful way. There's nothing extraordinary about it. But when you can appreciate the extraordinary in the ordinary, then life takes on different meaning. And Peter did a brief reflection today while he was driving on the motorway. And he usually does words of wisdom, maybe 10 or 15 minutes before one of us does the meditation, or maybe Ian and Emily do the meditation, or Pearl or somebody else. And I just think it's really important to reflect. And I was going to just write a post and say, just having some deep reflection time at the moment. Just thinking about, because obviously Geneva is pretty much out of the lockdown now. How the city has changed. And yesterday morning, for the first time, I heard an airplane because the airport was not too far away, and I thought, wow, I'm not sure I really want to go back to normal life, you know. Not that it's my decision, of course, but it is our decision what we choose to bite into. You know, many of you know that I'm not a retail therapist. It's nice to have nice things, don't get me wrong. But the thought of queuing outside a shop, one of the guys at the hot chocolate stand the other day, you know, he just said there were 50 people queuing outside one of the designer shops. That's my idea of hell. Take me by the lake anytime, you know, take me in the park, take me in the trees, lie me on the grass with a blanket and a book, and I'm happy as Larry with a bottle of water, you know. So I think for those of you that are in lockdown, because I'm aware many of you are from England, there are people from all over the place on this FaceTime. But just enjoy the quiet and really embrace your families and the people that are close to you, because they're what really matters. Many of you know that a very dear friend of mine died just over 2 weeks ago. And today is one of my granddaughter's birthdays. Little Eve is 7 years old, and I spoke to her this morning, and the other two granddaughters that are a bit younger were laughing and smiling, and my son was there, and I think my daughter-in-law was in the kitchen making a birthday party up. And of course my other son at the moment is over, well, he's left New Zealand with Rachel, and they were going to visit, obviously at a safe distance, this afternoon. And you know, that one of the things for me, being a mother of 4 children and 8 granddaughters, is the humility of knowing that, you know, when I left England last year, it was a great unknown, and it's, you know, it's always an unknown anyway, but there's a huge sense when you leave your children behind in a different country, even though I was going to go and visit the 2 that were in New Zealand, and obviously my very dear daughter-in-law, Rachel. It's about what you leave behind. It's about, you know, have you installed morality with your children? Do they know you love them if you pop your clogs, or you get killed in a plane crash, or, you know, you end up in India in Timbuktu and you never return, or you know, anything can happen. I always felt trust on the journey. I always felt safe. But you know, sometimes it's really humbling to look at what we leave behind when we've gone. I have been incredibly lucky because my parents are still alive. And Dad's in his late 80s, Mum's in her late 70s. And, you know, within reason, they are within reasonable health, you know. They can get about and do things. Obviously, they're on lockdown at the moment because although we're 70. But the appreciation when you have an iPhone or Skype or an Android and you can just message, you know, I've been able to message Mum every day, and I've been able to talk to my granddaughter today. And usually my son, many of you know I'm not very technical. I'm technical enough, but it's not my thing. Give me a book, you know, I can read a book, that's not a problem. I can write a book. But being technical is just not my thing. I get by probably with the bare minimum. I'm not stupid, but it's just not my thing. And we have to honour what we are and where we are. But of course, having been away for all that time, I've had to become a bit more technical because you've had the language barriers, and, you know, if technology doesn't work, then it might mean you can't talk to your family, you can't let them know you're okay when you land in a different country and things like that. And interestingly, the week that Damien died, my iPhone kept telling me the storage was nearly full, and I just thought, well, it's all right, it'll be fine. What I didn't realise was that when it says the storage is full, the bloody thing won't start again. And I didn't know that, and I felt really lousy that week. I slept most of it. I felt really, really quite awful. Some of you might have heard the term uploads, downgrades, whatever, upgrades, and I was shattered. I just slept most of the week, and then obviously the shock of losing my friend just really just heightened everything. But one of the things that happened today was, again, going back to the guys at the hot chocolate stall, and I said, look, can you just help me? Because can I go and get my iPhone fixed anywhere? And he just said, yes, no problem. Just go to the left. There's a shop there. They'll help you. And I just thought, wow, okay. And sometimes we just have to ask. And sometimes we just have to trust. And I walked into the shop, and the guy didn't speak much English, so he apologised. Now, some of you may or may not know this. I don't know if there's many reasons for this, but as a child, I was deaf for, Mum will correct me on this, probably 12 months, 24 months. And I learnt to lip read. And when people have masks on now, I really hate it, because I've learnt to lip read, so I can tell when people are clipping the words when they finish a word. My French isn't brilliant. It's okay, but it's not brilliant. But when you put a mask on someone and I can't tell when they finish one word and have started another, then I'm a bit scuppered, especially if they talk fast. And I have always loved eye-to-eye contact. Now, whether that's because I'm psychic, I don't know, but to me, there's always that kind of doubt. If someone won't look you in the eye, there's always a questioning, what's going on here? And I think through our eyes, we can communicate so much. We can communicate a smile, we can communicate silence, a comfortable silence, or obviously a very unhappy silence. So welcome to many of you. I know many of you have just joined, and I don't normally do these in the evening, but I really just wanted to share a deep depth of appreciation today. And I can write a message, but am I going to capture it? I don't know. So I trotted into this shop, and this guy apologised. He didn't speak good enough English, and I said, well, look, I'm apologising because I'm in Geneva, the French side of Switzerland, and I don't speak much French. So, and to be fair, I have been here since February, and I have probably learnt less than half a dozen new French words. Now, that's pretty disgusting, really, because when I was in India, I put the app on my phone and I learnt how to speak Indonesian to a degree. Any of my friends from Bali will correct me because I used to make a lot of mistakes, and it is what it is, but I tried. Now, why have I not done it here? Is it because I can get by? Is it because I'm lazy? I don't know. It's my excuse. I'm not going to make any because it's not good. C'est terrible. It's terrible. Anyway, so the guy went to get one of the other guys in the shop, who was called Abdullah. He was lovely, and he had been at one of the Scottish universities to do his degree, and he spoke obviously good English. So I was reminded of good old Blighty, good old Scotland. And just again, back to that depth of appreciation when somebody acknowledges you. And I apologise to him as well that I didn't speak enough French. I certainly understand more than I can speak. But yeah, I could have put a lot more effort in the last few months. So I just took my iPhone. My iPhone was frozen because the memory was full. And I'd asked my son in England, and he just said, Mum, I despair with you. Bless his cotton socks. Can you imagine having me as a mother, the poor sod? And he just said, so I can't sort it out for you when you're in Geneva and I'm in England. I said, it's all right, son. I was just asking you because Mum has actually had to do things for herself, and I've looked on Google and I've tried numerous things, and it's still not working. So I trotted down to the shop with my tail between my legs, completely humble, and he said, yeah, we can sort it for you. And I'm like, wow. And he just was so lovely with me. a simple gesture, a simple act of random kindness. And to me, he just went that extra mile. So anyway, obviously because the storage was full, it couldn't hold any battery, because every time there was charging it tried to restart and there was too much information in there, so it kicked it all out again. And anyway, it is on charge at the other side of the room at the moment, and I'm delighted. I will let you know if it works. But it was 5:10, 5:15, and he said, it's going to take a while. Can you come back at 6 o'clock? And where the shop was located, if I'd have walked back here, it's a good 15-20 minutes, and obviously to get back and then walk back down again, I'd already done quite a long walk around the city, and I thought, right, okay, so I'll go somewhere local. And I went up in the square behind the old town. In the old square is kind of behind the main town in Geneva. And as I went up into the main town, the bells from the cathedral and the other churches started ringing. And I always see that as a sign, in spiritual circles, synchronicity, synchrodestiny, coincidences. It was absolutely beautiful. And the sound was just so, I don't know, it just made me glow. There's no other word. I'd gone out this morning, I'd gone out around lunchtime, and for various different reasons, I was hungry. I didn't feel like very much. So I just had some strawberries and a couple of oat. So of course by 5 o'clock I was quite hungry. So I bought some bread from the boulangerie, and I was quite thirsty, so I got a bottle of water. And just even the simplicity and the appreciation for that. The shops are open. I could actually buy a bottle of water. The fountains are on, so worst case scenario, I could have drunk from the fountain. But as I walked up to the old town, the beautiful flowers, the French have beautiful fountains, and the flowers looked amazing. The vibe in the town, because in the square, so many people were sat outside just drinking coffee and talking, and I just thought, wow, with the bells in the background. And then when I listened to the bells, they were kind of tinkling away to the Beatles song, Let It Be, which is one of my favourite songs. And many of you know that I love singing, And I've been really blessed to have, I think, a reasonable singing voice. My children may well disagree with me on that one. But I just sat there, and I was just biding my time, because I had to wait till 10 to 6 to set off again to go and get my phone back. But just the depth of that appreciation, just the depth of being able to sit where there are other human beings, because the amount of times I've walked through town and maybe I've seen half a dozen people, maybe 10, maybe a handful, maybe more. But whatever comes from this virus now, and I say virus in inverted commas, I think there's too many politics. I'm not going to get stuck in all that. There's an awful lot more than we are being shown. What will come out in due course, I don't know. And the fact remains, we've all had downtime. And in all honesty, apart from the time that I found out that Damien had died, I've never felt lonely here. I've had friends ringing me and messaging me, and I know many of you on here have messaged how you're doing and everything else. And I haven't gone out every day. I've gone out most days. But I can honestly say I have thoroughly enjoyed the COVID, whatever it's brought to me. Excuse me, but sorry, my nose is just got really itchy. Some days it's been challenging. Some days there's been a real vibe in the city of fear. Is everything going to be okay? Are businesses going to fall down? What's going to happen long term to the economy? So, yeah, just wherever you are in the world, if you're still on lockdown, just enjoy the quiet. As I say, when I walked back from Alice's apartment yesterday, the cars were bumper to bumper. And there were men walking around with their very important briefcases, with their posh suits and their nice shoes, whereas everybody's just gone around in trainers, shorts and t-shirt for the last 2 months because nobody cares. Nobody gives one. It's just been like a long holiday. And to see people just sitting in the park, playing frisbee, playing cricket, enjoying the children, people laughing, people playing frisbee, people just sat reading a book on a bench. There's been a camaraderie. And I did share John Thompson's FaceTime. And he was saying, which is a beautiful thing, and it's been so true, we're in it together. We're all vulnerable. It doesn't matter how much money you've got in the bank. It doesn't matter what car you drive. And it's not about anything anymore. Or it wasn't. And it'll just be interesting to see what happens now, because are we going to go back to the old way, the old kind of, well, we should have a decent job and we need to earn this much and we need to drive this certain car and how big is your house and all this crap. It's just crap. It's about what's in here. My whole day today has been about what's in here. From the start of the day to the end of the day. I went shopping, I went food shopping this morning, and the fact that I could just buy some food, the fact that I can get back into the apartment that's clean, that's, got everything I need in it. The fact that, thank goodness, the neighbours are quiet in the apartment block. The fact that I've got hot, clean water. The fact that I've got water I can brush my teeth with instead of having to use bottled water as I did last year when I was in Bali, Nepal and India. The fact that I can pick the phone up and ring my granddaughter and she smiles at me and she looks beautiful and she's telling me about her birthday presents. And the fact that she's been brought up with morality, and the fact that she's got love between her parents and her siblings. I don't know. I just wanted to share with you today the depth of appreciation I've got for all of you as friends. We're all one big family. The stuff that some of you are in the group, the Sacred Pause, but many of you know Peter. I am honoured and privileged to know so many of you, not just on here, but to the people I've met here, to the people I met in India, the people I met in Pokhara, the people I met in Bali, the people I met in New Zealand. And those people, many of them were from abroad, Australia and many, many, many different countries. But every single day we have a choice. Every single day we have a choice to meet new people. Every single day we have a choice to put a smile on our face or to give up, and just be miserable. And I have to say that this morning when I woke up with about 3 or 4 different dreams going on in my head, which was quite bizarre. And one of the last thoughts just before I woke up was that a very dear friend, and I just had a feeling I'm never going to see him again. And I just thought, okay, well, come on. You're a hypnotherapist, psychotherapist, you do counselling, you have a choice to buy into that because it's only fear. And we are meant to meet people or we're not. And we're meant to stay in touch with them or we're not. And if the universe orchestrates things that we meet somebody or we lose touch with them or, as with Damien, he's gone to the other side. Just in that Beatles song, Let It Be. So I kind of woke up and I was a bit shaky really. Sometimes, obviously, as a homeopath, you can take emergency essence, rescue remedy or something like that. And Ignatia is a very, very good remedy for bereavement and shock. And waking up in shock when you start your day, and usually I wake up with real gusto and really happy and really bubbly. I just thought, right, okay, if I allow this, it's going to really spoil the day. So I thought, right, well, we'll take some Ignatia, pulsatilla, chamomilla, have a cup of tea, and just sit with it. And sometimes we need to sit with it to be in it, to move through it. And sometimes we just, we need to shake it off. Sometimes we need to go within. Where is that being stored in the body? What is it really representative of? And sure enough, within a few minutes, it started to ease. And when I was walking in Geneva before, I just thought, thank goodness for that. I feel so much better. So the tiny things today have brought a lot of joy to me. The tiny things of people helping me out. The tiny things of people smiling back at me, of saying hello, of making me feel welcome. And when I left the shop, when he'd fixed my phone, I just said thank you to, the staff and the guy that had translated for me, and obviously bon weekend, which means good weekend. So I don't know if I've inspired you in any way. I don't know if I've just rabbited on, and bored you senseless. Maybe you're all asleep snoring in the chair or on the sofa or, But I just wanted to say thank you to all of you, and just find one thing to be grateful for today. Whatever success means for you, like Peter said, and I've always said, it's not about the material things, it's about what's in here. And I know when I spoke to Alice yesterday, I did see her sometimes through the lockdown. Not in the last few weeks, but certainly at the beginning. And Alice said, you've been fine. You've been on your own for 2 months in isolation, and yet you've been fine. And I think it's really what's in here that matters. It's nothing else. It's what we choose to get up with in the morning and even after. And I would say it was a bit of a nightmare, really, probably, that I had in the early hours of this morning when I awoke. But there was a choice for me to let it carry on for the day. And I thought, no, let's just sit with it. Let's see if there's a learning, because everything is a learning. We learn from everything, even an argument or miscommunication, broken relationships. And I don't mean relationships as in husband and wife. It can be a relationship with a neighbour or a sibling or anything really, a friend or not a friend, a colleague, an acquaintance. Many of you have maybe worked in a busy office, and you cannot get on with everybody because it's just life. We're all made differently. But when we look to ourselves and we appreciate ourselves more, and I always remember my friend Dan said to me many years ago, Mary, one thing I love about you is you don't judge me. And I said, Dan, I spent so many years judging myself. Why the hell would I judge you? What a waste of time. And the look on his face was just one of relief, because he had judged himself. He judged himself very, very harshly. And I always remember another friend said to me, you know what, Mary, your problem is that you don't judge people. But you know what, again, I spent too many years judging myself, criticising myself, for many, many, many things. But I think none of us are perfect. We do the best with what we've got, or at least we try to. And we're all broken pots in some way, shape or form. Some of us have been glued back together the wrong way, and some of us have been glued back together in different ways. But when we can appreciate the simple things in life, I bought some strawberries that were on offer in the supermarket this morning, and they were really good. I really appreciated them. And I know my friend Lucy put a picture on Facebook of a butter pie, Lucy can correct me because I don't know. I think it was a butter pie in a bun, in a bap, in 2 slices of bread. And it looked lovely. And of all the things I've missed from England, butter pies, cheese and onion pies, and fish and chips, good conversation. Thank goodness for FaceTime, because many of you I've spoke to over FaceTime. Many of you have just messaged. But how wonderful that the simple things in life are the best. And I'm not sure if you just heard that ping ping, because I left the phone on deliberately. This is my iPhone that's just luckily restoring itself from the iCloud. Thank goodness for the iCloud, and thank goodness I backed it up. So I think my son would be proud of me for that. I'm sure he'd have kicked me up the backside if I'd have been in England, bless his cotton socks. But thank you all for friendship. Thank you all for laughter. Thank you all for appreciation. I thank the universe for the simple things, There's 2 washing machines and 2 dryers in the basement here in the apartment block. And after having washed my clothes in a bucket or just the shower for months, the joy of being able to use a washing machine is really something. I mean, okay, I had it in New Zealand, but just the simplicity of things, So just take care, all of you, and have a wonderful evening, whatever you're doing. And maybe just spend some time reflecting on what you have learnt from the lockdown. Maybe you've learnt nothing. Maybe nothing's changed for you. I don't know. But these last few months here in Geneva have been amazing for me. I love this city. The whole area, be it on the French side or the Swiss side, the joy that it brings me, I there's just no words. There's another ping from the iPhone, so it's obviously working. Just sitting in the park last night by the lake, and the moody clouds and the skyline and the sunset. And even though it started raining and I knew I was going to get soaked, the little birds, there was one on my knee and then they went on my trainers. And just that connection to nature was profound, the simplicity of it. And I was starving, so being able to eat a cheese pie, was just, and it was really good. The Swiss, the French are very good at making their pies here, which I don't normally eat, to be fair, but it was really good. So, yeah, just appreciate where you are. I know many of you have shared pictures of woodland walks and your gardens and your allotments and your flowers and your, maybe tubs in the patio and window boxes and things like that. It means so much. It does to me anyway. And I just think Mother Nature has had a huge rest. Let's hope that the rest of the world learns from this. The Himalayas were in view. Who knows what's going to happen? I've been to India. I've seen the smog. It's really horrendous. And that is one time where I really wished I had actually bought a mask as I approached Delhi. It was pretty grim, to be honest. But the place is overcrowded. It's the way it is. You learn acceptance. Again, we're back to that word acceptance. So, yeah, whatever you're doing tonight, if you're eating, appreciate your meal. If you're drinking tea and it's your favourite tea, be it Earl Grey, Lady Grey, Girly Grey, goodness knows, herbal tea. I found 2 herbal tea bags that I thought I'd kind of finished. I didn't know I had any left, and I found them yesterday. And they're so nice. And Alice made me a lovely herbal tea yesterday, and a different kind of chocolate. She shared some chocolate with me. It was really tasty. So again, the simplicity of all that, So let's just keep it simple, whatever comes out of this COVID. Because friendships are important. I've done Zoom calls with different friends, FaceTime calls, and just sharing the laughter, sharing the support. Be aware of who gives you support. Be aware of how grateful you are to that support. And be aware of being grateful to yourself on some level. I've been doing Tai Chi many days in the last few days. And just eating healthy all through this. I lost a lot of weight last year, and I really didn't want to put it back on. And when you've lost weight, you're very aware if your jeans were getting a bit tight, So being aware of diet and just kind of eating less makes a huge difference. So even just being appreciative of the knowledge you have, of the books you've read, of the books you've shared. A couple of people have sent me parcels over here with different books in, and I'd run out of incense. And of course, okay, the shops are open again now. I can go and buy some incense, but I don't need any. Thank you to Rebecca. Tomorrow night is a very dear friend's birthday, so we're having a quiz on Zoom. And next week, my friend in Lausanne, it's her birthday. So she said, there's just a few of us, can you make it to Lausanne? And, the trains are running more effectively now, so I'm sure I should be able to go. But again, it's that pure joy of friendship. So whether you celebrate your friends, your family, both, celebrate them, just tell them you love them, just share what you can. And just appreciate everything you have, from the clothes on your back, the necklace around your neck. My son bought me that for my birthday last year. And while I was here, the gold necklace that I've had for over 10 years has snapped. So many of my necklaces, I can't wear. Whether I will decide to, treat myself to a gold chain for my birthday, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. And that's the thing. What does matter anymore? And certainly over the last 12 months, you learn the simplicity of, a clean toilet, especially in India and everything else. And the joy of being here at the moment. The public toilets are open again, thank goodness. Because it's not much fun when you need a pee. It's okay for blokes, they can go in the trees, and not quite so easy for women. And especially when the parks are full. But just back to appreciation. I had some bird seed that I bought to feed the birds, and I took it out with me today, and I was feeding the swans and the pigeons and the sparrows. And the simplicity of the joy of that as well, just something really, really simple. The waves on the lake were really rough because the wind had got up. The clouds across the mountains were just breathtakingly full of moodiness, because again, I thought I was going to get wet through, but actually today I didn't, which was quite something. But looking at the cloud formations here, watching the mountains change over the last few months, the snow's melted and now you can see the trees and the greenery underneath. It's been spectacular. So there's your door, the jet of water that shoots up 140 metres, still isn't on after 8 weeks. So I will celebrate the day that comes on, and you can expect photographs on here. I just love the Jadot. I love the lake, and it was so windy this afternoon when I walked by the lake, because obviously there's lots of boats, and with the forgive me, I don't know what it's called, but the string that goes up the mast for the sails, and as the wind blows, it hits and it just sounds like a tinkle, and it's like many, many bells ringing. It's so beautiful, and that sound today was so special. And there's a coloured chap, I have no idea what his name is, and he spotted me the other day. I've seen him a couple of times when I've walked by the lake, and he's very, very tall. He's, goodness, 6'4". Always has a big smile, and of course being black, he has very, very white teeth. And he smiled at me yesterday as I walked past him on the bench. And as I say, I've not spoken to him, just a big smile. And he spotted me today as I walked back from the park. Again, big smile. And I thought, wow, just the simplicity of that. And again, just the appreciation to see the cafeterias open again, to see physical people open, available again. So many of you know I keep an appreciation journal every day, but today, I don't know, something in me has exploded, or that's how it feels. And the love of life, the appreciation of friendships, the appreciation that, I love writing. I just love writing. It's such a dedication. I love reading, that I've been able to do that. I've been able to read, I've been able to write, been able to do some research in these last few weeks. I've been able and comfortable to sit in silence. I've learnt to sing more quietly, because obviously I've got neighbours, I'm in an apartment block. So to celebrate today in whatever way, shape or form you want to. You can eat strawberries, you can eat chocolate, you can eat crisps, you can have a hot chocolate, whatever, I don't care. But just take time to celebrate the people around you. Take time to celebrate yourself. And it seems to be a run of birthdays. As I say, my dear little granddaughter Evie Bobs is 7 today. For those of you that don't know, all my girls get called Bobs. Lavender Bobs, Raffy Bobs, Evie Bobs, Rosie Bobs. I just put Bobs on the end and they just look at me and it's like, Grandma, what are you doing? But I don't care. They know me well enough now. So, yeah, let's just celebrate life. Let's just take time out today to find the perfect within the imperfect, because I love my cracks. It's taken me years to love myself, to find my sense of humour, to love my imperfections, my cracks in the pot. You'll know the Japanese proverb. The Japanese break a pot and they glue it back together again. And they look at the pot and it's even more beautiful than it was before. So this time that I've had here in Geneva will stay with me forever. It will just always be with me. And I am so grateful that I have seen Geneva come back to life, or still coming back to life, I guess. And thank you for listening. And thank you. I'm so grateful that I know many of you personally. I'm very, very, very blessed. And have a wonderful evening, or a lovely morning, or a lovely afternoon, wherever you are in the world and whatever time you watch this. But for all the people that touch your lives today, or have touched your lives today, just tell them thank you, because thank you goes a long way. To me, you can't say thank you enough to different people, And if someone says thank you to you, appreciate it. I said thank you to the trees today. I said thank you to the shrubs, to the birds, all those things. I say my own private thank you to the lake, like I say, for the noise as the kind of strings hit the... I'm sure some of you will know what these things are called. I'm sorry. Maybe it's the rigging in the ships, in the sails. Forgive me, I don't know. But, yeah, there's a real contentment, a deep, deep contentment in me today. And I just wanted to share it with you. So thanks for listening. Sorry if I rambled, but I'm not sorry if I rambled, because I don't really care. But take care, all of you. God bless, and much love.